Hi everybody, this is Bill from The Quick Take, and our very first Quick Take will be
the one, the only, the classic Halloween.
Yes, John Carpenter's Halloween, starring Donald Pleasance as Sam Loomis and Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. In 1963, on Halloween night, young Michael Myers goes into his sister's bedroom after she probably had the most disappointing, quickest sex in cinematic history, and he stabs her to death. After that, he gets sent up to a mental hospital for 15 years, and as luck would have it, on Halloween Eve of 1978, his doctor comes to go get him, to take him before the judge, and he escapes. Imagine that, on Halloween Eve, at night. Anyway, he steals the doc's car, goes to Haddonfield, Illinois, back to the hometown where everything started. He sets his sights on Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Michael follows her around, does some stalking, then stalks her and her friends. Meanwhile, Dr. Loomis comes to town to let everybody know that we got a killer on our hands, and he's going to be killing that night, where he meets up with the sheriff, who's going to help him stake out the town for the evening. But that doesn't stop Michael, and Michael continuously stalks and then finally kills Laurie's friends, working his way up to her. At the very climatic scene, Laurie is getting strangled by Michael. Sam Loomis comes in, shoots Michael off a balcony, where when Dr. Loomis looks over the balcony to see his handiwork, Michael is gone. That's Halloween. Okay, what worked in this film? A shitload of things worked in this film. First of all, let's talk about John Carpenter, the director. He put together a great team for $300,000 to make this movie. And he did a great job because he got some good people. He got Tommy Lee Wallace, who did a great job with the sets. The houses are awesome. Michael Myers' house, the Myers house itself, is its own character. And it's an icon. Not to mention the Wallace and the Doyle house, the babysitter houses, with the Wallace house of me being the creepiest of all. And that's where all the murders happened too. Between those two houses, there were a lot of suspense and a lot of action all at the same time. Dean Cundy, also part of Carpenter's team, lit the set. His lighting was fantastic. He had great blues, great oranges, and put them together. So he had that really nice cold but yet warm type of feeling when you watch the movie, whether daytime or nighttime. Also, the way he lit the Myers house, and he lit the rest of the movie, it was great. John Carpenter had a great team, but he was the one that put it all together. Not to mention the music. The music is probably one of the most iconic themes in horror history. Also, his use of camera, his angles, and everything in between, plus the fact that how he used Dean Cundy and Tommy Lee Wallace in this movie was fantastic. The characters in this movie were great. Laurie, Linda, and Annie, great dynamic. They were likable. So when something happened to one of these characters, it stung a little bit because you kind of invested your time in them. And that's the way a movie should be. It should invest its time in its characters, because then if something happens to that character, you care. It's just not another murder, like in most horror movies today. And of course, Donald Pleasance as Sam Loomis is a memorable character in its own. Donald Pleasance was in the first 6 movies, and he established this character that never really wavered between each movie. And he was kind of a quirky guy, but yet convincing, and he worked with Sheriff Brackett really well in the first movie. So the dynamic of all these characters was really good. Then there's Nick Castle himself, the OG, the Michael Myers, right? With the original mask. Now, I say they all work the same. Because you put the original mask on another character, it almost looks like a different mask. But the way that Nick did Michael Myers, and all he did was have directions of just walk. You're not going to be a character, just walk. And he did. And that walk is also iconic. It's been copied by a lot of people trying to be Michael Myers, and it doesn't work. I think there's one actor portraying Michael Myers who walks like Nick Castle. See if you can guess who that is. But anyway, the mask, the mannerisms, the walk, and though they had a number of Michael Myers in this movie, Nick Castle is the one that did the long shots. He was the sneaky one. He was the one that was pretty foreboding. What didn't work in this movie? Not too much. Even the continuity errors and the bloopers and all sorts of stuff, they worked. I mean, everybody was invested in this movie who watched it when it came out. So they never really cared. They never really saw things like they do now. People watch movies different than they used to watch movies. Back in the day, people watched movies because they wanted to see a story. They wanted to be scared. They wanted that suspense. Today, people want jump scares, they want special effects, they want all sorts of stuff. But that's not true good movie watching as far as I'm concerned. I want a story, I want something that's going to happen. I'm proud to say I like Halloween. It's a great movie. I wouldn't change a thing. Everything was put together really well in that movie for the short period of time they filmed it and with the small budget they had. It was scary, it was suspenseful. It's the way a movie should be. I hope they can make more movies like that. Thank you for checking out the quick take. And I'm kind of farting around right now because I really don't know which direction I'm going with this. Maybe you guys can help me. Maybe you can give me suggestions. Should I go a little bit more in depth or less in depth? I'm thinking I need to be less in depth. A lot of YouTubers out there that have done this forever, I praise you. And I'd also like to thank people like Jimmy Champagne, Dr. Wolfula, Wolfman's Got Nards. Yes, that's him. Dave McCrae, and others that I watch that I enjoy that really have inspired me because their reviews are fantastic and they know just what to do, and it seems like they know what to do really well. So I hope you stay with me. I hope you enjoy the ride, and maybe we can just get better in the future.